Hello, welcome to Birmingham Property News Show, the show for all things property in Birmingham. Does what it says on the tin. My name's Ewan Rankin. I am a Birmingham-based photographer, and I love doing this with James because it's just fun. Except James isn't here. Yes. Yet again, he's allowed me and Chris to do the show on our own.
I know.
So what I'm taking from that, Chris, right, is that the last time we did a really good job.
I think that's the case. I think he's just left us to it now.
Absolutely, yeah. By the way, we had 3 emails from people who were telling me that the word I was looking for was unisex. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry that my dictionary brain elapsed and disappeared for that evening. I could not think of the right word, but unisex was the word I was looking for the flight club. And it's still a great place to go for men and women. There we go.
Yeah. So it wasn't bisexual then.
Joining me, the man who has, who it remains to be seen what's going to go on tonight. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad.
Sunbathing again. Look in the Barrows and Forrester office.
I know. It's been a beautiful day though.
Gorgeous there, mate. It's
it really is. Yeah. It's sun shining away. Makes a change though. Hopefully it stays.
Makes working late all the easier.
Yeah. Definitely. It's been a hectic past couple of days, to be honest. So it's good to
sit
in the office. Yeah. We've had a couple of new big listings. We literally put a property on the market on Thursday. We've been inundated. We've got some really good offers in already. So yeah, it's been a hectic couple of days.
And I've shot a couple of apartments for you, haven't I?
Yeah. You did, and they're looking really good as well. So they'll be coming live very shortly, also.
So let's get straight into it then. The week in Birmingham property. What is going on and what is happening? Well, Chris, this is your story. It's a really big one, isn't it? It's 500-foot mega tower at HS2.
Yeah, it's massive by the developer court collaboration. So it's a 51-story tower containing hundreds of new apartments. £160 million, One East Side is the name. It's a project. It's going to be a residential tower for the private rental sector. It's at the corner of Jennings Road and James Watt Queensway. So it's going to be right by HS2 and Curzon Street. So there's going to be 2 towers, which is going to be incredible. I think it's just what Birmingham needs.
It's kind of the thing that struck me initially when I read this was normally with this kind of tower, they try and diversify a little bit. So they'll have a little business in there, then they'll have some moderate domestic properties, then they'll have the premium domestic properties at the top. But you're saying this is all domestic?
Yeah, well, there is going to be a commercial space on the ground floor, but there's a lot more to it. So we deal with a lot of off-plan investments and investment properties in Manchester as well, which we have done over the years, which this is just nothing to them. This is just standard. That's why you see, if you ever go to Manchester, you can see all cranes everywhere. Now Birmingham's playing catch-up, but this is the norm in places like Manchester and London, where you have your private dining and bar areas, you have rooftops, communal facilities such as gyms, fitness studio, residence lounge, cafe, cinema room, even meeting rooms as well. So it's a whole lot more than just literally just putting a bunch of apartments together on a plot of land and that's it. They can rent them out. That people demand more for their money these days, and rightly so. I think it's going to be a fantastic project.
Designed by Glancy Nichols Architects in the Jewellery Quarter, so it's Birmingham-based designers have done it as well, which is nice.
Yeah, it's always good to see. I
noticed in the story as well that they're pointing out that it's just minutes away from Aston and Birmingham University and Birmingham City University and the HS2 terminal. They're not going to try and do this as student accommodation, are they, surely?
I don't think they would.
No.
I think it's purely as a PRS scheme, so just be to the private rental sector. Now, it depends on the students' budgets, really, depending on what they're how they're going to look. But I think if it's going
Granted.
to international students that they love this kind of stuff. It's the same in Manchester. International students, fair to say they have their parents' money behind them, so they can, afford these luxury stuff. And yeah, hopefully it'll be the same case for a lot of the local people as well. But realistically, it's going to be sort of more marketed towards your professionals working in and around the city centre of Birmingham.
Now, I've got a picture up here, and I was interested on your take on this, because the building down to the left looks like it's not skewed. It looks to be in perspective. This building looks immensely skewed. Is this thing going to be a really cool, interesting shape, or is it just the way it's been drawn? It looks that way.
I think it's just the way that it's been drawn, right. But typically with a lot of these type of developments, they will go straight up. Some have, different ways of doing it, but I think mainly it will just be, sort of a straight up tower, because they're saying it's going to be tall. It's obviously going to be, it's going to be taller than the BT Tower.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks from this perspective like it's a bit like the what's it called in New York? The iron. Oh, I can't remember the name of the damn building. It's like the one that's always in the Daily Bugle's in Spider-Man.
I can't remember the name now.
I want to say gridiron, but that's the wrong. Someone will write in and tell me it's unisex iron, but it's I've got to find out before the end of the show. But it looks like that building a little bit on the way that it's been drawn. So I was thinking if that was the case, that would be really cool.
Well, we are seeing that, especially like if you look at London and Manchester, for example. I know I keep going back to them, but they are, powerhouses in these type of developments because they've been doing it for a number of years now. Birmingham, like I said, is playing catch up. Whether they're going to be able to get to the likes of Manchester and London, probably not, because I think James has mentioned on the show before, in Birmingham we are sort of scared of the high-rise type of developments. But now we can see that, the city council are starting to sort of get attracted to it and liking to have that in the city, which I think is huge. Well,
Birmingham's got a thing at the moment, because I know I went to an event about 2 weeks ago, which was definitely about expansion and investment in infrastructure. They were looking at a property that would be for the motor industry out by Minworth. And Birmingham were heavy investors in that, and there was an area of the land was being set aside by Birmingham for future developments that were undisclosed, and that was kind of. That showed that there was a necessity or an intent on the part of the city council to really look to try and get into property investments and expansion investments and commercial investments. So,
yeah, I think it's needed. There's a lot of buyers. There's a lot of people that are looking to rent. But there's just not enough. And they are wanting the nice new shiny buildings. And when you've got your gyms and your cafes and your meeting rooms, it's the whole experience. It's not just walking into your apartment. You've got the concierge services, etc. Yeah. It just makes that whole experience a lot more pleasant. And obviously, it will come with a price tag, but you get what you pay for. So I think it'll be a big hit.
The Flatiron building was the building I was thinking.
Right. Okay.
So I have a picture of the Flatiron building. So if you Google that for us, Chris, because I don't, you need to Google it. I can't send it to you, but
just doing it there.
If you Google the Flatiron building, and now tell me that picture is not reminiscent of the one that's on the story.
Yeah, it is.
There is a certain something, is there not?
Yeah. Well, you find that the take inspirations from the likes of America, New York, Manhattan, those type of styled buildings, and they're bringing that to the UK, which is quite nice to see, because it brings a different element to it, doesn't it? So it's nice to look at.
It is not just some square upright rectangular thing, because that would be cool.
Yeah, that's it. Because otherwise, it's just boring.
Now, the other question I've got on my mind is, we've talked an awful lot about property developments, the conversion of places in the jewellery quarter into domestic dwellings, the 3-bedroom stuff that we talked about last week. Is there a risk that there's too much residential property around the city centre of Birmingham? We're not looking at putting in enough commercial stuff. Is the balance get askew, or is there an oversaturation of the market, perhaps, Chris?
No, yeah, it's a great question, and it was asked as well. I think on the article to the founder of Court Collaboration, Anthony McCourt, and even he's saying, the market will determine whether there is too much product, but and he rightly says there's a lot of activity in the city. And he reckons our economy can take it, particularly with the amount of job creation that's happening. And I agree, especially with HSBC coming on board. I think you've got HMRC as well, altogether. So a lot of these big firms now are moving towards Birmingham because obviously it's cheaper to rent a desk here compared to the likes of London. But Manchester's seen it as well, where Manchester's sort of reached its peak and it is still going ahead, but a lot of investment was going into Manchester from big businesses, and we want that in Birmingham. So if you have that in Birmingham, then these developments will flourish, and there should be more and more and more to meet the demand. Not too much, obviously, to saturate the market, but just enough to create that beautiful, skyline that we all want in Birmingham. We all want to look at that at a night time.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me is the fact that when you tend to try and mix residential and commercial, it's always the commercial that fails. It's always the commercial that gets driven out because they tend to make a little bit more noise, or if you've got pubs and clubs and stuff like that, it makes a lot more noise, so then the residents complain. And so then the action is not to say, well, actually, this was a commercial district and we built some apartments here. It's always the commercial properties. And I'll go on my own experience here. In my street, there is a list of a row of commercial properties, and 2 of them were converted into domestic dwellings. And the guy that owned the upholsterers and had been there for 30 years, his father had owned it before him. All of a sudden, they're complaining about the fact that he starts up his machine at 4 o'clock in the morning to start doing work. When actually, that's what it was about. It was a commercial strip of properties. And now the residents complaining, the action was, sorry, mate, you've got to leave.
Wow.
So that's the thing that bothers me about sticking loads of commercial residential properties in commercial business districts. Is so in the jewellery quarter example, the commerce is not there, is it? The commerce is slowly moving out and it's being replaced by office staff. So that's 9 to 5. So that's not the end of the world. So residential properties doesn't work out. But in certain areas of the town, there are hustle and bustle. There is industrial noise and there is commercial noise from shops and bars and stuff. And I'd hate to see that imbalance be lost.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an experience of going to one of these types of developments in Manchester. It's the City Suites apartment development, which is where actually Pep Guardiola and a few of the footballers stay. And they have an actual restaurant on, I think it's sort of like towards the top, but you still have apartments above it. And it just, the way that they're laid out is obviously they make sure that, it is going to be suitable for everyone. It's not just going to be pure just noise and it's just going to be busy and everyone gets annoyed. The way that these type of developments are laid out and built, they make sure that they take everything into factor and hopefully it doesn't come to that as well.
Excellent. This weekend is a busy weekend if you're in Birmingham because this weekend is, I've got the weekend right, yeah. Gay Pride. 22nd year.
Wow.
Of the Gay Pride public events. There we go. And it's coming to Birmingham. You will be expecting road closures, however. So I noticed today there was a sign up in Waterloo Street when I was parked there saying this road will be closed on Sunday. And they'll all be filtering through to Centenary Square. It's a big festival now, isn't it? Yeah.
It's huge. I've seen a few of the articles that have been going around and it looks like it's a great laugh.
A carnival parade will travel from Victoria Square to the Gay Village in and around Hurst Street. So that's a fair old walk.
Yeah.
If you're going,
you're going to be you're going to be attending, or
I can't because I'm supposed to be going away with the family. But we've got a few friends who will be there, and they badgered me to go to the one in Manchester a couple of times, and I've always said no. But I do want to go because from what they've told me, it's a really load of good fun and it is a good opportunity for drinking.
That's much better.
That's much better, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now I can't edit because I've said that's much better, and never mind.
Let's just go with it.
It doesn't continue into Bank Holiday Monday though, but some of the bars are still going to be open for the whole weekend with the stuff. I'm trying to look for a list of what's available. But right, here we go. Roads closed. Culmore Row, Waterloo Street. I was right. Bennett's Hill, New Street, High Street, Cars Lane, Moore Street, Queensway, St Martin's, Queensway, Smallbrook, Queensway, Hurst Street, and Thorpe Street. That's a fair old set of closures, isn't it?
Be a nightmare if you're trying to drive around there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would be going. I would be having some drinks with my mates, but I won't be this weekend because I'm supposed to be going away with the family.
Where are you going?
I've got work next week, but the wife said, "Why don't you come down and then get a train back?" So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go down over the weekend and then get a train back on Monday evening. This
nice.
podcast won't. I hope the show doesn't go out before Monday evening with my address on it. Otherwise,
might get a few hecklers.
I might come back to an empty house. Yeah. And we need to think about feeding the cat. I hadn't thought of that. I only just thought of that. This show's good for something, clearly.
Yeah.
What are you doing this weekend, mate? Are you taking advantage of the beautiful sunny weather and the bank holiday?
Hopefully. It's actually my birthday on Sunday. So,
mate, how many?
29. The big 29.
So now everyone only needs your first pet's name and your mother's maiden name, mate, and they can get in your bank account.
I know. It's getting old.
Oh, give over. I can't even remember being that age.
I'm sure you can.
Memory fails me.
No, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I've seen there might be a bit of chance of rain. Might do a barbecue. Not too certain on the plans. Just sort of take it as it comes. Still recovering from a weekend in Barcelona, so yeah, I might just take it a little bit easy this weekend.
I heard that was quite sleep deprived. I think was the word you used, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The word that we can broadcast that you used this morning.
Yeah.
I've had a good day, mate. I had a meeting with someone today who spent the whole time talking to me and saying, "Yeah, but my generation." And like, how old do you think I am? And he said, "Well, you're younger than me, aren't you, by some distance?" I went, "No, I'm actually 2 years older than you."
Really?
Yeah. So it was like, yes, get in. I'll have that. Now then, if you'd like to come on the Birmingham Property News Show, then you can. All you've got to do is send us an email to info@birminghampropertynews.co.uk, and you can join us here in the studio, or you can dial in on Skype, and you can tell us about your Birmingham-based business or regional-based business that influences Birmingham, and have an opinion about the property market. You don't have to be in property to come on. I think we're going to have Gary here next week. Gary Stone, he's a wills writer. He might come on, he said. Okay. So he's really good. So if you'd like to come on, just come on, sit with us, have a chit chat, tell us about everything that's going on in your life and in your business, and you can join in. And if you'd like to sponsor it, this podcast is sponsored by Barrows and Forrester, and Chris is going to tell you loads about what they do in a second, but you can sponsor the show. So get in touch again at info@birminghampropertynews.co.uk, and we'll tell you details about how you can do that. But for the moment, it is sponsored by Barrows and Forrester. What do Barrows and Forrester do, Chris?
So we're a property company based in the Jewellery Quarter. We deal with residential sales, lettings and investments, also property management. Just a quick point on the letting side of things. Obviously, 1st of June is coming up, so the tenant fee ban will be coming into place as well. But we have never charged tenants any admin fees whatsoever. We've always been that way. But obviously a lot of the estate agents now are trying to play catch up. And yeah, so from the 1st of June, no tenant fees will be allowed.
Excellent. Like you say, that doesn't affect you because you've been one of the good guys all along.
We have indeed, and that's why a lot of tenants choose to use us, and they're loyal to us because we have always been, upfront and honest from the start. We're not in the game to rip people off. Not saying people are, but we just want to do an honest job and find people.
Yeah, the hidden charges are always what switch people off.
It is, and it can be very expensive for tenants, and it can cost them thousands of pounds before they've even moved into a property, which is ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent. So if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, do get in touch. Oh, phone number, Chris. Where can people get hold of?
So it's 0121 296 2600, or feel free to email me at kp@barrowsandforrester.co.uk.
How's the Newcastle development coming? Is there any developments in the last week or so, or is it all just ticking along?
Yeah, so it's ticking along nicely. I know my boss James was up there this week, so he's there actually today. So they're doing some stuff with the land at the moment, and they're going on site on Friday.
Now, I know we're up for award, and I say we because my small element of doing this show with you guys is included within this. What's the award that we've been nominated for?
So we have actually been nominated for the Social Media Marketer of the Year award. The City of Birmingham business, I think it is. So yeah, we're thrilled with that. Hopefully, if we can win that, that'll be amazing. So we'll put the link in so people can vote for us. Excellent,
mate. Superb. And there's nothing better than winning an award. James has promised he'll take me if he wins.
Oh yeah. It'll be nice. You know, so it shows that the hard work's paying off, and people appreciate it. So it'll be even if we don't win, it'll be just amazing to be there. But if we do, even better.
He'll let us out the cupboard, mate.
He will indeed.
My name's Ewan Rankin. You can get me at Ewan Rankin on Twitter. You can follow my company 12 Space Media on Instagram at 12 Space Media as well. And if you'd like photos and videos and that kind of stuff, then I'm your man. I can help you out here around Birmingham City Centre as well. We're going to be back again next week, I think, with another show. James might be back in the studio then, and loads more stuff to talk about with Birmingham Property News and catch up on what's going on. Don't forget to get in touch if you'd like to join in with us. Have a great bank holiday weekend. Really enjoy the sunshine and weather, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening.